The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah, go Cowboys!
Let's go, baby!
Are you ready for a break?
Yes.
Are you ready for a break?
Absolutely.
Ready for a break?
Yeah, and so much for that.
It's time for The Break on DallasCowboys.com.
We were on the break!
With Nick Eatman, David Hellman, Ambar Garcia, and Derek Eagleton.
It is Tuesday, November 9th, 2021, Season 17, Episode number 57. Welcome to the latest edition of The Break, live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. We got a gumbo show for you today. We got a lot of different topics we're going to hit. Before we get to that, Nick, give me a quick 57.
You remember Baron Wortham?
Yes, I do. Linebacker.
Yeah.
I do. He came from the Titans, right?
Yeah. You know what I like about him? He came from the Titans. He was a good player.
Yeah.
4 or 5 years, good player. Yeah. And came in like 2000.
He actually was. I think he was one of the holdovers from the Oilers. I think he moved from the Oilers.
He wore 52, and he got here, and he said, "You know what? This young guy that they got, Dexter Coakley, he's got it going. I'm not gonna take his number. I'll just 57. It's fine. He was a cool dude.
Yeah, he was. He's a good dude. Yeah.
57, Baron Wortham. I can't think of anyone else really. Can you? Current guys?
Current, no. Damian Wilson wore it.
Victor Butler?
About Devontae Holloman.
That was one of my. That's
Man,
probably one of the saddest stories in the time I've covered the Cowboys, that he didn't get a chance to really let his career.
When we do that documentary on the what could have been, guys.
Is that him?
He'll be up there. What could have been for a lot of reasons. David Irving.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, I thought you meant 57. I was like, no. He didn't wear 57.
No, just guys that just
weird on him.
Yeah, I got you.
Guys that just, man, it could have been something different. There's a few guys like that, but
that actually would be a good documentary. Put that on your list, Nick.
I think I'm not gonna say I follow Holloman, but his name pops up from time to time. Like he was like a GA at South Carolina after his career, and then I think he's coaching high school football now.
Okay, I could see that.
Devontae Hall.
I feel like maybe it wouldn't be surprising if one day I see him. I'm not saying like a head coach, but like in college or the NFL, just like, oh yeah, like the linebackers coach Devontae Holloman. I'm like, what? Okay.
That just reminds me of another guy that I keep seeing a lot of that's coaching, and he maybe wore 57. Kevin Burnett.
Kevin, I don't think it was 50.
I don't know. But
he definitely is coaching now.
Yeah, he's coaching a lot. You see him
definitely coaching.
Doing a lot of things. Maybe he wasn't 50.
Shout out to the bros.
Was he? Is he?
Was he?
Is he?
There's no such thing as
There's
was he.
Hey, I got a long.
You can't get.
We had a nice conversation.
Yeah, we had a long information.
You can't
session.
get kicked out of the Omegas.
Yeah, I guess, but that's not normal. Yeah.
Once
you get kicked out of anything.
Always a bro.
There you go. And even if you get kicked out, like, you're still a bro.
You're still in.
Always,
Okay.
forever be a bro.
What if you go to the other team?
That does not happen.
Okay.
That ain't gonna happen. All right, real quick before we get into the Cowboys talk, I do need to real quick. I got to say happy birthday to my mom. It is her 70th birthday.
Wow.
And so I'm just like very, very excited for her today. It's like a really big milestone for her.
Happy birthday.
Awesome.
Happy birthday.
I know she's listening because she's a longtime breaker. Like, she's been listening since it was just me and you doing this. So she's been listening to pretty much every episode since we started doing this. So.
Oh, I got a video you can send her.
Which one?
Well, she's listening.
Okay.
But,
okay.
Yeah. Basically. But yeah, I'll say, basically, like 4 years ago, I got Zach Martin to say, happy birthday to my dad wearing number 70. He was wearing 70. Happy birthday from number 70, Zach Martin. And he said, and then 3 years later, when my mom turned 70, I kind of trimmed off that first part when he talked to my dad, and I sent it to her, happy birthday. So I have a happy birthday from number 70.
That would have been so awesome. That would have been so awesome if you just had not just said that on the air. Like, actually, I could have used it.
He kind of said that maybe he shouldn't, and you told him to say it anyway.
I did. You're right. I did.
You think we're going to get a flat tire in the ditch here as we're just driving here?
Maybe. Didn't you write an article about that? Something about flat tires?
I said if you keep driving on a flat, it will end in a blowout.
Well, okay, let's jump in real quick again. Happy 70th birthday to you, Mom. We love you. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Let's talk a little bit about injuries. Let's start first there because there are quite a few that we need to catch up on. Let's start with Tyron Smith.
We'll see.
And
we'll see.
That's what Jerry said.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay, after you read through what Jerry said and what Mike said, what's your thought?
I truly don't have a read. I know you
Dr.
don't.
Jerry says the best way to get over this injury is to give it rest and to get back on it.
Well, he did
He
say.
did say
well,
that.
but he did say that this is not one of those injuries. He said it's gonna get better whether you're on it or not, is what he said.
Well, then play.
And
Okay.
right, and
Okay.
he said this is an injury about pain. How much pain can he tolerate?
Yeah.
So that makes me wonder, like, can he come back this week and just deal with a lot of pain, or after sitting out a week, is the pain lessened to where it does make sense for him to get back out?
He was with the rehab crew yesterday, working and getting up on it. Like, he's not off his feet. He's taking steps to getting back onto the field. I don't know what that means for this week. If it's about pain tolerance, I'm not going to bet against Tyron Smith. That's for damn sure. So
Yeah.
Thursday is the new day where I sort of make determinations about how I feel about things. Because we've said with Garrett, it was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you're ramping up. But now they kind of do stuff Wednesday. Thursday's the real practice. They don't practice at all really on Friday, and then they do something Saturday. So Thursday's the padded practice. We'll see what he does.
All right. Talk to me about Ezekiel Elliott. He had I think it was a knee contusion there in the game. They wrapped it in a heating pad. Then he came back on the field. What are we hearing at this point?
Zeke said after we were done asking him about that, when the interview was over, he was just like, I'm doing this every week. It's the first time y'all have asked me about it. Like it's
Well, it's the first time he's come out of a game for it,
It's
right?
he didn't come out of the game though. Like he rotates with Pollard all the time. But
after the guy fell on it, you saw him limping, and he went on to the sideline, and then he didn't come back out the next. Now maybe that was already going to be Pollard's series, but I'm just saying
he didn't miss like this crazy amount of time.
Yeah.
He went back in the same quarter that he left. He's been dealing with this all season. He's been on the injury report before. It's football. I'm not going to say he's fine because I'm sure it bothers him, but he's not going to miss time because of this.
He was playing 30-0, right? Wasn't he out there towards the
for a
end?
while.
He was definitely out there.
Didn't he
late
get
in
a
the game.
2-point conversion?
Yes. Yeah, the
So-
first one.
Oh yeah.
So
That's
I think that's a good sign there too.
Yeah.
If it was really bad and the game was out of reach,
like I said, like if I told him you're fine, right? He'd probably like laugh, like, of course I'm not fine. I get
Relative.
the crap beat out of me every week, but
Right.
I'm gonna play. I feel like I'm good. I'm good. It's not a big deal.
All right. Let's talk about Michael Gallup and Tank Lawrence. Both still have not returned.
Michael Gallup's gonna play against the Falcons.
all right, Tank Lawrence.
We've been talking about, and
he needs
I
to-
think
let's go.
it was longer than a lot of people anticipated. I think that's fair. I think part of that was Jerry even said that today. He was like, it was close enough that in hindsight, you're like, maybe we should have played him in this game. Of course, nobody in the world thought they really needed him. But they said last week that if he didn't play against Denver, he'd be ready for Atlanta. His practice window is up either tomorrow or Thursday. They have to activate him. He's going to be up and playing against the Falcons.
Yep.
Tank Lawrence.
Needed. I think it'll be interesting to see how they rotate him in, but
Yeah.
probably less reps for Noah Brown, maybe, or definitely Malik Turner.
Yeah.
But he wasn't playing a whole lot anyways until it got bad. So, but yeah, I'm anxious to see kind of how and even Jerry said this morning that his deep threat. That's something that we're, needed and something that Gallup obviously provides.
Yep.
Tank, to my knowledge, they have not started the 21-day window. So,
And they won't this week.
Yeah. What did we say last week? I feel like
We
feel
said
like
we're
Vegas-
hopeful for Thanksgiving. That
Right.
would be fun, but it's wild how the season works that way, where you look and all of a sudden Thanksgiving is 2 weeks away. you
Yeah.
know? So might be Saints. We'll see. And I get that that's frustrating because he got injured week 2, and you say 2 months, so 2 months from September 18th is November. I get that, but these things don't always follow a perfectly linear path. And even if he comes back in December, you've still got him for 4 or 5 games, and then on top of whatever happens with the playoff situation, which despite the sky falling this week, still think it's a good bet the Cowboys will be in the playoffs.
We haven't walked off of that one.
Well, it depends who you talk to, but so we'll see. I'm still hopeful for Thanksgiving, but maybe a little bit later.
All right. Let's talk a little bit of Broncos strategy. This week we heard some actions after the game. Vic Fangio, who is the head coach of the Broncos, said that the teams haven't played the Cowboys right, talking about how well they were able to perform against this Cowboys offense. McCarthy says in response to that, this is a copycat league. I hope they do so. And he was talking about it, referring to even Dak's comment where he said, I hope teams do actually look at this and want to keep doing what they did, because I think we can beat that. And we even talked about it a little bit last week. Brandon Staley is a kind of a disciple of Vic Fangio, and the Cowboys did have some challenges offensively against the Chargers. That was one of the defenses that's probably given them more trouble than any other defenses this year. And so my question for you guys is, what did you see in this game that may have been the Achilles heel, or the thing that can give Dallas a bit of problem? What did they do that was very different maybe than other teams have been able to do?
I'll be very transparent. It's Tuesday morning. It's super annoying. The Game Pass All 22. I don't know if it's up yet. It usually isn't up till Tuesday. I haven't had a chance to watch any type of All 22 angle and give you some type of great breakdown of it. But just off the rip, and Mike McCarthy probably said this 4 times, the Denver played match man, which, without going too far into the weeds, it's what he's known for, which is dropping in coverage. Match man is basically you can switch between more of a zone look and a man look depending on what you see, which sounds insanely difficult to me and takes a high amount of precision and communication. You can go, Brian Baldinger did a great breakdown of this. If you Baldy's breakdowns, he goes viral like every Monday, of the interception that Caden Stearns had of Dak. He had a guy coming out of the slot. He was carrying him over the middle of the field, realized what Dak was doing, communicated with the safety behind him, and passed his guy off, and then dropped into a zone in the middle of the field and was just waiting for the pass. All of that happened in the time since the ball was snapped. You just, again, you got to be on your P's and Q's, and you can just move within the scheme depending on what you see. That's not unique to Denver, though. Like, that's a thing that most NFL teams can do. I think the big difference for me is that Denver didn't have to bring extra pressure to bother Dak. The stat going around is they blitzed 14% of the time,
which is the lowest of the
season by far.
Yeah.
Dak was like running away with the league lead in terms of how often he was getting blitzed. So not only were they not doing that, which means you can have 6, 7, maybe even 8 guys in coverage, but they were still getting home. Like the ridiculous Hail Mary that we talked about yesterday, where Dak had, like, he got all the way out to the sideline and threw it 60 yards to Dalton Schultz on a 3rd and 21. It's a 3-man rush. And they still bothered him that much to where he was flushed and had to run 20 yards to the sideline. I just think Denver did a way better job of pressuring him with fewer people than anybody we've seen before. It's easy to blame the tackles, but I wonder if there was more to it than that.
Yeah, and I think just like any game, not being able to run, running the football can offset a lot of those things, a lot of the down and distance that you get yourself in. And that I thought was a big problem too. First and second down, really on first down, they just never seemed to get anything going. Every once in a while they did, but it just felt like it was 2nd and 9, 2nd and 8, 2nd and 10, and unlike what Denver was able to do on 2nd down on offense, the Cowboys just weren't able to do that. This was the one game I thought this year that when they got behind the chains, they didn't make up for it. And we were noticing that they could do that in a lot of these games. Penalties weren't hurting them. Sacks early weren't hurting them because they were explosive enough. Not in this game. And I think what Dave said, I just think that getting pressure, because when you can play that way, then you can play zone and man and do all that because you're getting there. And it's unbelievable when you think about the injuries that they've had, and then trading Von Miller away, and Chubb and Miller were supposed to be their guys, and and you go back and look early in the season, they were playing really well on defense, still are.
Yeah.
So go ahead. If I learned anything from this matchup, I don't know much about Vic Fangio. He's in the I know who he is. He was in Chicago.
Very well respected defensive coordinator.
He's a great defensive mind. I knew all of that. The 2 deep safeties, he's a big part of what everybody's trying to do. I just didn't know a lot about him as a guy. And I came out of this matchup like, okay, Vic Fangio has a really high opinion of himself, which a lot of football coaches do. But not only did he said 3 things after the game that I missed because, we cover the Cowboys. We're focused on what happened to the Cowboys. Right. In the post-game press conference, he said nobody's played them the right way. He said I'm in charge of the defensive calls and the alignments, so we knew that was going to be good. Like, that's my responsibility, so we knew we were going to be on top of that. And then he started out his press conference by saying, as Jimmy Johnson would say, how about them Broncos? All in the span of like 10 minutes. So I was just like, man, this meant a lot to you, or you're really amped about this win. Like, tip your cap. They beat their ass. But I came out of it like, damn, Vic Fangio, like, talk your trash, I guess, man.
He's going to be good coordinator for someone next year.
Well, honestly, he had to double down in that instance.
Well, yeah.
I mean, because all week I'm sure he was telling his team, nobody thinks you guys can win. Everybody's counting you out. We're going to go in there. We're going to beat them. And so when you do that, that's the kind of win that can propel you to some better things. They're a middling team right now, but they certainly can get on a run maybe if they can have the right pieces in place and do the right things.
I'm really interested to see where they go, because if they play like that, they're going to win a lot more games.
And AFC is not like nobody's running away with the AFC. So
we've also and that's the reason why those of us on the outside took them lightly. They haven't looked like that all year. Like, they're struggling to score 17, 18 points in games, losing to the Browns, who didn't have anybody the week they played.
Yeah.
I mean, so are they all of a sudden going to go on this run and contend for the AFC West, or a month from now are they going to be hovering around 500, losing to bad teams, and we're like, man, that's a bad looking loss.
They're going to lose next week at home against Philly. They just will.
What? Think so?
Yeah, just the way it works out for the Cowboys. Yeah. They beat the Cowboys. They beat their ass, and then so the Cowboys are like, well, at least you can just keep it up and beat Philly. They won't. They're 5-4. They won't. They won't.
I don't think you're definitely wrong, but Philly ain't great either.
No, they're
and
not.
I think the home field. See, for teams like Philly, I think the home field advantage in Denver is hard to overcome when you're not just a better team, and I don't think Philly's a better team.
We'll see.
Like that, the altitude is that's a hard thing to get ready for.
That is a tough place to play.
Yeah.
And this is morbid, but I was wondering. You remember we went up there in 2017. Bronco fans do this annoying thing. Every time the opposing team throws incomplete, they yell, incomplete. Remember that? Yeah. Dak threw like 40 incompletions that day. It was so annoying. In the fourth quarter on Sunday, I was like, are we going to hear that here? Like, are there enough Bronco fans that are pumped enough about that? Would have been demoralizing.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we didn't hear it, which was nice.
So how concerned are you guys? All that being said, how concerned are you that other teams really can do this to the Cowboys, that maybe playing coverage against Dallas and mixing up your coverages to where Dak can't get a good pre-snap read and be able to get rid of the ball quick? How much do you think that can affect them if other teams are able to do that to them?
I'm not. And I know that the Chargers and the Broncos aren't identical. No team is doing the exact same stuff, but Staley's part of that tree. Staley does the same stuff. He got a head coaching job because of what he was doing as the DC with the Rams, and they piled up yards on the Chargers. And Dak, people disguising coverages has never bothered him to this point. Like, the windows that he can fit throws into, it doesn't bother me at all. And I think there's a little bit of defiance there, where it's like, you're not going to be like, oh, I hope we don't see that. Like, Dak's a really confident guy. Of course he's going to say he hopes to see more of it, but no, I'm not. I'm not super worried about it.
There's a lot of factors involved there. I mean, not everybody can do what Denver does. Not everybody schemes it the same way. They don't have the pass rushers the same. They don't have the discipline in their secondary. You have to be really well coached. You can't just go out and just do the same thing. Say, well, we're just going to run the same stuff that the 85 Bears ran, and we'll be fine. It doesn't always work the same. But also, I think what we said yesterday, and let's don't underestimate the fact that the wide receivers were not at 100%. That they were out of sync with the quarterback. And that's not what we've seen all year long. So if Atlanta comes in here and does it, then I think the next Monday we'll hit panic buttons and stuff like that. But I just think there's a lot of factors. And 77, the left tackle, I think that's a big factor as well. I mean, whoever was rushing the edge for Denver, I don't think has the same kind of success. I guarantee you, if I would have interviewed Terrence or Tyron Smith after the game, he probably wouldn't have been like, "Yeah, it was a lot more challenging than I thought it would be over there." No,
yeah. Well, that's a 7th round pick that got his first 2 sacks of his career against Terrence Steele. I don't know that he gets on the stat sheet against Tyron.
Yeah,
Tyron being in the lineup is a big part of that. Although as we talked about and will continue to talk about, you can't count on that. You can't count on it this week, and who knows how many more weeks where that'll be an issue.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take our first break, come back. We got to talk about the defense, and I want to zero in a little bit on Trayvon Diggs. We didn't get a chance to talk about him yesterday, but Coach McCarthy had something very interesting to say about his aggressiveness. We'll talk about that when we come right back. This is DallasCowboys.com radio.
Before there was a draft, you could size up a Cowboy by 3 simple factors: the crease in his hat, the bend of his brim, and his unbending attitude. A man Stetson didn't just protect him from what life threw at him, it projected a rugged, unstoppable spirit. Stetson hats are still American-made with pride right here in Texas. They're still the unofficial crown of all self-respecting Cowboys, and Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find a retailer nearest you at stetson.com/Cowboys.
The Cowboys way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way.
Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So, to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit att.com for details.
Back to the break.
All right, it's time to celebrate Christmas at the Star with Cowboys Christmas Extravaganza, powered by Reliant. It's a 20-minute show. Electrifies the Star in Frisco with a powerful mix of game day excitement and Christmas cheer every Friday and Saturday at 6 p.m. November 19th through December 18th. Admission and parking are free shipping. For more information, visit thestardistrict.com.
Welcome back to the second segment of the break, live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. Dave will be our master of ceremonies at that event.
Really?
Celebrating Christmas. So make sure you go out and check out Dave. He'll be out there taking pictures. May even wear Santa suit. We'll see how it goes.
When is this?
Starts November 19th, I think.
You don't listen to the reads?
No.
Yeah.
What are you doing while I'm doing the read? The read is for you.
I'm looking at Twitter.
Dave will be all in on this, and we'll be out there just bringing a lot of Christmas cheer.
What's the Twitterverse saying right now about
everything?
Is it Cowboys Twitter or is it LSU going to beat Arkansas
It's
Twitter?
everything
It's
for Dave, right?
It's everything.
Yeah, it's
I follow like 3,000 people. Need constant stimulation all the time.
Is that the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning, grab your phone and look at Twitter? Oh, my God.
Yeah. I turn off my alarm. Yeah, Twitter, I check like what Rappaport and Shefty are saying just to make sure I didn't
was no news overnight.
miss anything crazy. Yeah. Maybe check in with TikTok, try to get a laugh in before I get up. Yes, I look at my phone for probably 20 minutes before I get out of bed.
And Dog's just looking at you like, what
can we go to the bathroom?
Can I please go outside
No,
here?
he knows better. He's like, he'll get up when he wants to get up.
I just got to hold it. Just so keep holding it.
Basically.
Keep holding it. All right, let's get back in. I wanted to talk about Trayvon Diggs. This defense, they had 6 plays that were 20-plus yards, including a 44-yard touchdown to Tim Patrick. That was some of the work of Trayvon Diggs. After the game, when asked about it, Dave, I think you were the one that even asked him about it, and his response was, it was a double move, good throw, good catch. And I mean, pretty simple. That's exactly what it was. And we've heard that now a couple times here in the last few weeks where teams got him with a double move. And I saw Mike McCarthy said something that was interesting when asked about that. He said he's probably a little too aggressive right now. Some of his penalties reflect that. That's really the focal point of what we want him to improve. But by no means do we want him to lose his aggressiveness. That's a big part of who he is. So my question for you guys is, Where's the balance? Do you think they need to kind of coach him to be less aggressive and in doing that risk the fact that he gives up the aggressiveness that gets the turnovers? Or do you let him just keep playing and hope that he can just be a little more smart about when he's going to be aggressive and not?
Well, I mean, it's no coincidence. I mean, he didn't even know who Night Train Lane was and Everson Walls. And now he's getting compared to these guys and their stats and has a chance to break records and all that. And how could you not want to keep doing that?
Yeah.
And it's working. And then now teams are figuring out ways to kind of offset that. So I don't think there's a right answer to this. It's just like we always say, how are they going to play defense? They're going to play it in a lot of ways. There are times he's going to have to learn as a second-year guy. He's going to have to learn when to take the chances, when to calculate these moves, when it's the right time to do it. Yeah, I mean, if the coach says he needs to be less aggressive, then that's probably what they'll be, because giving up a 12-yard pass, a 9-yard pass, or whatever, it's not as bad as obviously 50-yard touchdowns. And so getting rid of those chunk plays, you might lose a little bit from him.
I might say something controversial right here.
Oh.
He got beat for a touchdown. If you go back and watch the replay, was it just a case of him being this over-aggressive corner? I went back and watched it, and I asked Dan Quinn about this yesterday. I asked Trayvon about it too. Really good throw, really good catch. Like, go watch it. He stops short when he does a stop, and then when he goes, Trayvon's right with him. Like, it's not like he tried to jump a route that wasn't there and was trailing the play by 3 yards. Like, I thought the coverage was pretty good. And so the reason I say controversial is I'm like, am I making excuses if I just tend more toward, well, yeah, you're going to get beat sometimes in the NFL. I think the play that I would want back more was the defensive pass interference in the front of the end zone where he just got there too quickly. That's aggressive right there. And I get it. It's a tough play to make, but you put him on the goal line by getting there too quick. I would think you can time that up better. I have more issue with that than the double
All still
move.
The same issue, though, the
Sure.
aggressiveness.
Yeah. I mean,
so the question is, do you think that they need to coach him to be a little less aggressive, or do you think they just let him keep playing?
I let him keep playing, honestly. The results are good to this point. And it's the same thing as the offense. Like, we like Nick said in the first segment, like, we can press panic buttons if this turns into a trend. And Trayvon has given up yards. That's kind of been consistent throughout the season, but the returns to this point are worth the risk, in my opinion. So, I don't know. That's just kind of how I feel.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, Dave, because the way I look at it, I think that you need playmakers on this defense with the kind of offense that you have in most weeks. Not this last week. Obviously, we're not talking about that. But in general, what we've seen from this offense this year is that they're highly explosive. They'll create a lot of points. They're going to put pressure on the opposing team's offense to continue to score. In that kind of instance, I'd rather have the aggressive type who can get some turnovers, who can make them pay for being aggressive, for having to be aggressive, rather than somebody that sits back and just always gives up the 9, 12, whatever yard catch and never actually takes a chance and creates the turnover when you get them in an advantageous situation.
I'll even go as far as to say, and again, I haven't had a chance to watch the All-22, I'm sorry, but I think somebody, maybe it was Dan Quinn, just made the point, or maybe it was McCarthy, that defenses have had a month to see what he doesn't handle well and what he does, and it seems like he has trouble with over routes. These long routes that cross the field. Remember, Thielen had a big one on the 4th and 1. Really, one of the most backbreaking plays in that Denver game for me was the 3rd down. It was only like an 11-yard gain, but Teddy slipped the pressure and just threw a beautiful ball to Patrick right on the other side of the sticks. And it looked like it was Trayvon's guy, at least at the start of the snap. I don't know. Maybe he tried to pass him off or whatever. But on those plays where it's hard to get leverage, that's where it seems like he struggles to me.
But the fact of the matter with that, I think almost every cornerback in the league struggles
yes,
with that.
That is a very hard route.
That is probably
to
the hardest route to defend in man, is that deep drag route, because the guy has the leverage. He has the inside position to be able to go across field, and trying to keep up with that is just very difficult.
Well, right. And then the very next play was a 44-yard touchdown. So, I mean, he had him chasing all over the field on that play, didn't make the play, extended the drive, first down. The very next play, they line up on the same side, and they beat him for a touchdown.
Yeah.
I think more so than anything with his play style, I worry I just worry about the challenge of being kind of a lightning rod, because I think that's what Trayvon is right now. He's leading the league in interceptions. Cowboys can't keep his jersey on the shelves. Fans are just dying like, oh, Diggs, he's our new Dion. And then he plays for the Dallas Cowboys, so everybody who doesn't love him hates him and thinks he's overrated. And you can search his name on Twitter.
You'll get both.
It's a lot.
I've been asked that 10 times. Is he overrated? And of course I answer the same thing. What's his rating? I hate that question. What is his rating?
And the thing I'm just relaying the information. I don't have an opinion on it, but I think PFF graded him out 101 overall in terms of his coverage grade for the season, and that made a big wave on social media. And social media is not a real place, but that stuff weighs on players. They don't like to admit it. Some of them are better at blocking it out than others, but there's just a firestorm around how good or not good Trayvon Diggs is right now, and I hope he doesn't let that get to him.
Yeah. I mean, but honestly, that's a lot of what I think we already kind of knew about him. Was he take chances? He can make some plays. He's got great hands, but he also can get beat.
Last year, he was a nice little bright spot on a bad team that nobody was really paying attention to. Now he is the face of the defense of the most polarizing team in the league, and that's a lot. That's a lot. I mean, Dak is probably the only person on this team that can truly relate to what that's like.
Well, you think his profile is bigger than Parsons right now?
Yeah,
you do.
He's on pace. First of all, Mike is a rookie. Second of all, Diggs is on pace to break the all-time ever record in the NFL. That was the pace. I don't know if he's still on it, but you get my point. And then he plays this position that is also polarizing, where you're either locked down or you're a bum. There's no in between. You're either getting cooked or nobody can throw on you. Again, in the eyes of fans and social media, which shouldn't matter as much as it does, but that's the world that we live in.
Yeah. All right, let's do this real quick. I want to get to this other topic regarding the defense. Cowboys yesterday, Mike McCarthy said I'm sorry, I think it was Dan Quinn maybe even that said it. But he said they had 14 missed tackles this game, which was a season high for them. Are you concerned at all about teams that come out and have that kind of running game? Again, it doesn't even have to be a great running back, but just lining up and just running the ball right at this Cowboys defense. We saw New England have some success doing it. Are you at all concerned about what that tape looks like, and if there are other teams out there that are willing to do that, and on a day when you can get their offense not to be as explosive, it looks like it's something that can be an Achilles heel for this Dallas defense?
Yes, you have to be concerned by it because they don't. They have speed. They're more undersized. They can get to the quarterback. They can get around and make plays. But if you get hat on a hat, they're going to lose battles. Even Micah Parsons is going to lose some of those battles right there. Leighton Vander Esch doesn't seem like the same guy he was a couple years ago as far as taking on some of those blocks and getting hit like that. The defensive line, Osa, those guys are quick. They got out there fast, but when they don't, they get beat. They get
let me ask you this.
Back.
Do you think that maybe their quickness and their aggressiveness is also what's getting them that they're trying to get upfield so quick that sometimes you just right out of the gap, right?
Of course. And so, there's just not a lot of big, strong, fast guys, in the NFL. I mean, not super big and super fast. It just doesn't always work. DK Metcalfs are just
Warren Sapp is special.
Right. I mean, those guys, they're just not normal. So it's one or the other. Yeah. And Dexter Coakley, Dat Wynn, those guys, they could fly around and slither around all that. But when they got hit by Big 62 coming right at them, they probably lost that one.
Yeah.
So it's concerning. It's concerning that the way that the makeup is. I think Neville Gallimore, when healthy, will help, and I think Tank Lawrence is a really good run stopper for being a defensive end that's high profile. He's a good run stopper.
Dorrance Armstrong the same, and I wonder how much more they're going to give him because I think he's as good a run stopper as he is now. He's not a perfect player, but I think he's a good run stopper. I'll be interested to see how much they work him into the game more.
And I'll adjust as I go if I'm wrong, but that more than anything, I think, is the evidence that this team just wasn't mentally ready on Sunday because it was ugly. But at the end of the day, Denver ran for 4.6 per carry, which is good, but not incredible. I mean,
a lot of it was they got gashed for big plays.
But here's the thing. New England ran for 4.4. Mm-hmm. Minnesota ran for 4.2. they're not that great against the run. They haven't been all year.
Mm-hmm.
Having a lead is part of that. But even in closely contested games like New England and Minnesota, they had some success with the run. But did you see just that embarrassing sort of effort where guys are constantly getting free? Like Dalvin Cook had one 19-yard rush. I think it was Stevenson had a 20-yard rush. But by and large, they're fighting for those yards. You're not seeing these lapses. What we saw Sunday was just probably 7 plays that should have ended with a 4 or less yard carry that went much longer. The really embarrassing one, obviously, being when Javonte Williams was like in a bear hug and just was like, "Nope, y'all are all. I'm done with all of y'all." Yeah. And like it's just such an outlier from what we've seen, even when in games when they weren't good. Which just makes me think, I don't think y'all were ready to get smashed 25 times the way that you typically should be.
I think it's pretty obvious when you look at it. I mean, no one's going to say it. I'll say it, but they missed Jalen Smith. No, I'm just kidding. They don't. I'm just kidding. But
I was bracing myself. I was like, all right,
here
let's
comes
go.
something.
Here comes the controversy.
Stop it, Nick.
No, they don't. I don't think anyone does right now. He hasn't been picked up, right?
I don't think so.
We would have heard that.
Not that I'm aware of.
Let's just leave him alone.
No, but they miss a physical presence there, and Parsons and Leighton, they're physical players and they can do that. But I mean, I'm not saying that they missed Jalen Smith when they missed the guy that was going to the Pro Bowl. Yeah. They missed that guy. I mean, he misses himself like that. I mean, but that guy's not here anymore. But they do miss a big physical presence there, and that's one thing that he provides. And Jabril Cox wasn't going to do that. He's more of a safety type guy now. I mean, he did knock Daniel Jones out pretty good, but I'm just saying they need some physical type linebackers and.
Well, I brought not just linebackers. I brought this up on Twitter yesterday too, and I don't know this for sure. It's an underreported thing that they haven't had Brent Urban for 2 weeks either, and he's not. His stats are not great, but that's his job is to just clog things up for everybody. He's a super strong physical guy. He's playing 30% of the snaps before he got hurt. Probably early rushing downs would be your guess, right? Having said that, somebody who doesn't know anything about football could watch that game against Denver and see that they were just running off right tackle at will. And that's not a Brent Urban thing. That's a setting the edge thing.
I mean, back to Dorrance Armstrong, I'm wondering,
back to DeMarcus Lawrence. Can you hurry back, please? Because I know people don't want to hear it because of how much money he makes, but man, he's good at that.
I want to know what the NFL record is for tackles for loss in a loss. I mean, that's not normal. 10 tackles for loss. That's a division.
It was feast or famine in that game.
But that's Alabama taking on, Samford. That's what happens when FBS takes on the FCS.
By the time the game was over, we get together after it's over and kind of huddle about what we want to write about, and everybody's like, "Yeah, Micah." And in my head, I was like, really? And he had an amazing game, but by the time it was over, it just felt like an afterthought.
Did you talk to him?
No, I did not.
But he was pissed. He gets pissed after wins. I mean, that's just his nature. I mean, that's what I said yesterday about, I like what they have with him because I think he's one of those guys. I mean, it's a cliche, but he's a football player. That's what he is. Know what position he is, linebacker, defensive man. He's a football player. He wants to keep getting better. We'll see what happens, in the next couple of years. He's going to get asked to do a lot of things. He already is getting asked to do all that. If he keeps that kind of drive, which I think he will, I think he can be a really special player.
Yeah. Yep. All right, we're going to take our final break. When we come back, I want to talk a little about the decision that they made to keep Dak playing in the end of the game. We had some response from McCarthy on that yesterday. Even Jerry this morning. It sounds like they're sticking by their decision. I want to get your opinions on whether you think it was the right decision. We'll do that when we come right back. This is DallasCowboys.com radio.
Hi, I'm Clint Tillison with...
And I'm Jay Novacek, and we're both with...
United Ag and Turf, the official tractor provider of the Dallas Cowboys.
So, if you need a tractor to bale some hay, a mower to cut some grass, or a gator to get some chores done...
Get a John Deere at United Ag and Turf.
And then, let's get to work.
Hey, Jay, that's my line.
Well, not today.
Get to work with a John Deere tractor package that's just right for you and your budget. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com.
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So, to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit att.com for details.
New Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. You deserve it.
I do deserve that.
You deserve decadent flavor without sugar. And a day at the beach without sand getting everywhere. And a relaxing bath that your children don't interrupt.
I deserve all that?
It's really just a visual metaphor for Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. Everything you want, nothing you don't.
A visual metaphor on the radio. I do deserve that.
Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. The zero you deserve is finally here.
Before there was a draft, you could size up a cowboy by three simple factors: the crease in his hat, the bend of his brim, and his unbending attitude. A man Stetson didn't just protect him from what life threw at him, it projected a rugged, unstoppable spirit. Stetson hats are still American-made with pride right here in Texas. They're still the unofficial crown of all self-respecting cowboys, and Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find a retailer nearest you at stetson.com/cowboys.
Back to the break.
It's just Christmas all the
Yeah, it
time
is.
around here, even though
beginning
it's
to look a lot
November.
like Christmas.
Santa at the Star this holiday season. Visit Santa to get your photo with him.
Santa.
Presented by Monument Realty. Santa Claus will be at his Cowboys-themed cottage in the Star District across from Ascension at the Star Boulevard from November 26th through December 24th. For more information and to book your photo, visit thestardistrict.com/Santa.
Merry Christmas and welcome back to the final segment of the break, live from the SWBC
I think we
Mortgage
should do the
Studios at
whole
the
show
Star.
just like that with
I do
music.
too.
I went
We
so
want
festive.
Trayvon Diggs to be aggressive at times. Pick your spots.
Like an ASMR type of deal, huh? Okay. All right.
What were you saying, Dave?
I went for a bike ride on Saturday.
Yeah.
We got Saturday off because we're at home.
Yeah.
Went for a ride around the neighborhood, went out to the lake.
And you saw Santa.
I saw every other house on my way to the lake was just there's zombies in the front yards and skeletons. But go ahead and tell me that it's Christmas time. It's fine.
Hey, our lights are going to be put up this week, man, and I cannot wait.
Weirdos.
Cannot wait. It's
Is
gonna be
Christmas
awesome.
your favorite holiday? You know,
Well, the holidays are my favorite holiday because I get to incorporate Thanksgiving, Christmas, my birthday, Dave's birthday. Like, there's so much stuff to be grateful for during this season. I love it. It's awesome, right?
Maybe that's where this comes from. Is like,
what is Dave's birthday?
14th.
Oh, there you go.
It's the same as my dad. It's
Okay.
easy. It's easy to remember for me.
Got him.
Maybe there's something like
14th December. Yeah.
You know, us December babies, you always have to, it's like, well, what about me? Like, it's my birthday too.
Definitely.
Like, maybe that's part of it where it's like, hang on, we got other stuff to get to before we can worry about Christmas.
One year we had four birthdays like in 5 days.
Yeah, it's like Dave and Amber and Brian
Mickey.
and Mickey. Yeah, everybody's in December.
You make it like you're like 1 year. That's pretty much every year.
I know.
Brian's the only one who's gone.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, and he's still kind of around.
He's still kind of
I just
around,
meant
yeah.
maybe the way the week felt, and it wasn't a weekend. It was with whatever. What's your favorite holiday?
Christmas.
He just doesn't want us to rush it. That's his whole point.
Just, you know, that I don't know. Like, I love the idea of Thursday's Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving gets its own thing. Everybody, you have the big meal. And then Friday, if you're into Black Friday, go for it. That's not for me. But the rivalry games are on, and you can start putting the tree and the decorations up while the Iron Bowl's on. That feels right to me.
But I'll tell you
But
this.
if you want to put your tree up now, this is America.
Even in years where I wasn't like start Christmas early like I am now, it was still like for years it's been a tradition for me. On my ride to the stadium Thanksgiving morning for Cowboys Thanksgiving game, I play Christmas music. Just because it's, to me, that's kind of the beginning of the Christmas holiday is Thanksgiving. Yeah. So
that's fine. That like Thanksgiving weekend is when all bets are off, in my opinion.
All right, so we're fair there.
Which is 2 weeks away. But
so stop it.
You do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. I'm just saying.
That was his way of saying. So stop all the other stuff. All right. So real quick, Dak Prescott played into the fourth quarter. Game was well out of hand. I think everyone knew at that point it was what it was. They were not going to win that game. He was still out there and playing. Mike McCarthy yesterday doubled down on that, said it was the right decision, is what they needed to do. Dak said, hey, if anybody would have told me to come out, I'd have been like, no, I'm not coming out. I'm playing. That all being said, do you agree with the idea that he should have been playing at that point, or do you just kind of like, yeah, it's fine, he can keep playing. It's good for them to find some rhythm before the next game?
1,000% agree, and I'll tell you why.
Agree with what?
I agree that he should have been out there. If he wanted to be out there, he should have been out there. He's the leader of the team. And the example I have is the fourth quarter against Denver, 2017. That moment will always stick out to me as far as Dak Prescott is a football player that is out here. He's a quarterback, but he is a baller. He threw a pick. I think Aqib Talib.
It was either Talib or Chris Harris. I don't remember.
Went 100 yards.
Yeah.
Dak's running 95 yards around there, battling with blockers and stuff, trying to make the tackle. All that. His running back certainly didn't chase anybody that day. He was just trying to get over 10 yards, and I don't think he made it.
8.
Yeah. He struggled that day.
That was a long game.
And it was, but not Dak.
Yeah.
Dak was playing the whole game. He fought his ass off that day. That was the one time that I remember. It was his second year, but I was like, this guy right here, win or lose, like he can go to the foxhole with me.
Yeah.
And he did the same thing. So you don't expect, win or lose, fourth quarter, he's your guy. You can't be the guy when it's going well. You got to be the guy all the time, and he has been the most consistent when it comes to that. So he's got to be out there.
It was Talib. You're right. This is the same argument as the preseason. Like there's the being smart. You don't need to be out there versus football players play football during football season. Like that's what they do. I think you could probably strike a balance. I didn't have a problem with the first drive. The game got out of hand. They looked terrible. He hadn't played in 3 weeks. Live action reps are a good thing. I get all that. And they went and scored. You make fun of me if you want. Keep getting the shutout out of there is important.
Y'all were both like, they need to get on score.
I'm kicking a field goal. I'm not getting shut.
No, I would like
me out.
Yeah. Whatever it takes, you're going to get points. Yeah.
Down 50 points. On the 5-yard line, I'm kicking the
with 2 seconds left.
I'm the go for it guy, but I'm kicking the field goal at that point because it's like, well, I'm not gonna have to think about this game forever.
This game's
only shutout.
This game's not going in the media guy. This isn't going to be a sense.
Right.
Nope, we're not doing that. And I told Todd Archer, who sits next to me from ESPN, and he's writing a story about 1991 and an Eagles home, and I'm just like, I'm sorry. No, you can just delete that because they're not getting shut out.
Yeah.
So there's a balancing act. I thought the first drive, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. The second drive, I was kind of like, what are we doing here? Why we're tempting fate? And I get everything you just said, but Dak is a guy that needs to be protected from himself. That's what we've been saying this whole time. He's going to push it. And maybe even too hard. And then to score the second touchdown and run a QB keeper for the 2-point conversion, what are we doing? And that, it's football and we play football and that's just the play. No, we got to use our heads a little bit more than that, guys. Okay. We got to not be running our quarterback in a BS situation in a game that's already been decided.
So what happens if, and I think one of y'all mentioned this, Dak does get pulled out. 30-0, you're out. And they lose 30-16. What happens then?
Meaning
Nothing
Cooper Rush leads a scoring drive?
2 scoring drives down the field.
It doesn't change anything in my opinion.
I don't care.
I don't change anything?
No. Not at all.
Not y'all too.
Maybe not, but honestly, I don't think for anybody, because I don't think there's anybody out there that's going to make the claim that Cooper Rush is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott. Nobody with any real understanding of what's happening on the field is going to make that claim.
Cooper's mom?
Okay, fine. Cool. But by the way, Cooper's mom thought that before the game started. She thought that before the game started. This doesn't change that for her.
I'm not saying it changes anything. There's some arguments you don't really want to deal with. Dak doesn't want to deal with that. We saw it at Hard Knocks. He doesn't want to deal with that.
I think Dak, but I think that's also because Dak is just a football player. He wants to play. If the game's going on, he wants to play.
Okay. I get it. I'm not going to sit here and say that they would be like, oh, we should play this guy or not play this guy. But I think then it comes down to, was he ready? Because if everyone believes that Dak's better than Cooper Rush, then why is it that Rush comes in, he played really great played well against Minnesota. They won. And then why is he coming in here doing this when Dak didn't?
Because we know at that point in the game, for the same reason the Cowboys got 16 points there at the end of the game, defenses play you different when they're up 30 to nothing.
We didn't have to deal with it, so
we didn't.
I mean, I would kill for somebody to try to make that argument to me if that had happened. I'll eat it alive. I mean, that's whatever.
It would come. It's not about who's the better quarterback. It was the guy wasn't ready. He wasn't ready to come back and play. We thought he was. We thought one game that he wasn't.
That was immediately.
You can still make the argument that he wasn't ready to play.
Yeah,
maybe
he obviously played really poorly. It had nothing to do with his calf. I mean, go look at the way he was running for his life all day.
Yeah.
That play I brought up earlier, he gets flushed by 3-man pressure. He does like 2 loop-de-loops and then gets out to the boundary and then heaves it to Dalton Schultz. It must have been a 60-yard throw. You don't do that on a bum calf.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he was rusty. He looked like crap. I think that was the worst game. That was the worst game that he's played since Cooper got here, bar none.
Amari.
Even like Buffalo Thanksgiving 2 years ago, Chicago 2 years ago. Like, he's played some stinkers. I think that was the worst he's ever played since he since he took that step.
And it happened to coincide with a day when a lot of other guys around him were also having bad days.
Bad.
You had receivers that, when he did get the ball to him, didn't catch it. You had offensive linemen that I know, and I saw somebody on Twitter that was making an argument, well, he actually had more time than he normally has in the pocket. This was about Dak. Well, no, I think the problem is if you watch a lot of those plays, he might have had a little more time before he threw the ball, but he was running for his life early on. And there were a number of times that basically still just got beat around the corner, and Dak was the one extending the play because he'd get out of that and then try to look for an opportunity to get the ball downfield.
I don't like that stat at all because it's not always indicative of what happened. The stat was, how long he took before he threw the ball. Well, some quarterbacks can extend that play longer than others. Roll out there because of their athleticism and then throw. It's like, well, it took 3 seconds. It's not like he was standing there 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi throw. It was 1 holy F, roll right, whatever, throw.
Yep.
So
I just think that was the tough part for this game is that no one on the offensive side. I don't think there was a single person on the offensive side of the ball that had a good day.
What's the fine?
I think there were a lot of guys that had an off day.
What's the fine for cussing? I feel like the last 2 days I'm getting closer. I'm getting closer and closer.
It's a job thing.
Somebody
depending on the words you use.
You know what's funny? Somebody asked me that question. Somebody asked me that question.
Hadn't heard that before. Huh?
Last week.
It's not in the manual.
I told you this too. They're asking about, is our show live? And I'm like, yeah, it's live. And they said, well, what happens if you drop an F-bomb? Who's got the button? And I'm like, there's no button, really.
Jerry's got the button. Like, Heidi's got the button.
The Cowboys, like the third floor, they've got the button. We just don't do it. They're like, well, what if you drop an F-bomb in the middle of the show? I'm like,
Then we probably just say, okay, go ahead and pack up your stuff.
No, we go upstairs and we say, hey, Will, can you go in and kind of mess around with that? Because I said something.
I make that call immediately. Like, don't make this live.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to make an edit.
I've had some moments. I've definitely had some dicey.
We've never gotten to that point though. Luckily.
Yes, Derek. Yes, we've never gotten to that point.
Knock on aluminum.
I do get a little worried every time we have somebody like Charles Haley on, though, because like, I don't know where Charles is going to go with whatever answer he has. But luckily, I don't recall us ever having that.
This is purely a quibble. It's not worth saying, but I'm just going to say, I think Ezekiel Elliott is allowed to look at himself in the mirror and say, I played pretty well in this game. He played a good game. He made an outstanding catch that kind of spurred them on when the game was still.
Was that the one where he took off down the sideline after the injury, actually?
Yep. Yeah. Averaged 5 yards a carry in a game where the run got away. I mean,
I wouldn't fight you on that one.
It doesn't matter, but for as much as we kill him when he doesn't deliver, he he did his part to try to help win this game.
I wouldn't fight you on that. And
I don't know why
the game got away from him.
Yeah,
and so they couldn't use him in the same way. But
I don't know why I feel the need to bring that up. Like he'll be fine.
Fair.
His paycheck, he got his paycheck today, and it's very large. But
and he's good.
You know what though? I mean, if he gets, and it wasn't necessarily his fault. But if he can get 1 yard on the first drive of the game on the 4th and 1, I mean, it's weird. Things can change totally differently. And now they still have to go further and score again. I mean, that was only like the 40-yard line or 35 or whatever. But I thought, and I had to look at it again, I thought he got cute trying to cut it back there when he didn't stay with the blockers on that play. But I mean, I haven't really looked at the end zone angle. I felt like the play was going that way, and a lot of times you can kind of cut it back, and he's run the ball more than I have in games. But I don't know. I just thought it's flowing that way. You've got Lyle, you've got Zach Martin, you got the tight end. Like trust them to do their thing, and you can get one. And he kind of cut it back, and I mean you're cutting it back behind Biotish at that point, and. Nothing against him, but he's not the other two. Yeah. He's not the right side. That's why you run right. You play right-handed, and so I'm with you. I mean, he played great, but I mean, those plays affected.
I honestly forgot about the early 4th down. There's more to it than just him not getting it, but yeah, I mean, could have changed the whole early part of that game by picking that up.
And we didn't talk about this yesterday. I was a little nervous, just kind of like, this doesn't feel right. It's noon, and there's a lot of orange, and I thought there would be, but it's it's like, okay, that's a lot. Just keep looking and like, okay, you got to have a spark here. And Tony Pollard breaks off a 54-yard kickoff return, and that bench was insane. Like they were jumping around, and they got the crowd into it. I was like, this could be a play. I'm always looking for those 5 plays. I'm like, this could be one that you could remember and go, hey, there could have been a little bit of a letdown, but boom, Tony Pollard, 50 yards, and then they're going to go score, right? 4 and out. And so I was like, wow, Denver did a nice job of weathering that and saying nah and stopping them. That was kind of key because that kickoff return was setting them up to get them sparked.
Yeah,
I thought they were going to blow them out probably up until the long touchdown that made it 13-0.
Yeah,
like for the whole first, even after Denver scored the first touchdown, I was like, this has happened a million times.
I thought they would win on the block punt. I thought
for sure,
the Cowboys are going to win.
When it was 16-0, I was like, okay, this is setting up for the Cowboys to have one of those games where they come back and they didn't play well in the first half, and now they get going and they win this game. It wasn't until much later, like Dak said, when you have that realization that. Yeah, today they're not going to win. They're really not going to win.
Take your pick. Even going all the way back, like we bring up the Jets game so much. Even then, it went down to the final play. Like it's very unusual in my experience for a Cowboys team to just never kind of claw back into it. Yeah. Just the whole thing is just a beating from beginning to end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, we appreciate you guys joining us. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll start talking Cowboys versus Falcons. Nick already let you know the Cowboys are going to wreck the Falcons this week. We're going to get into it tomorrow. We're going to talk
about. Have we learned our lesson? Absolutely not.
No, not at all. We're going to double down.
No, they're gonna,
this will be tomorrow. We'll talk some Falcons offense versus the Dallas defense. Till then, for Nick Eatman and Dave Hellman.
Hammer.
I'm Derek Eagleton. This has been The Break live on DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.